Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Box Office Talk. This is the show where I break down what happened at the box office, see if my predictions for the top 5 are correct, and then make predictions for next week's top 5. So let's get right on into it. Last week I predicted that number 1 would be Halloween, number 2 would be Venom, number 3 would be The Hate U Give, number 4 would be A Star Is Born, and number 5 would be First Man. And I only got 2 out of 5 of my predictions right for this weekend, which I'm a little surprised by, but also not. There was something that happened that I kind of was expecting to see happen at some point, so let's just go over what happened overall in the top 10. Number 1 was, of course, Halloween. I think we all kind of already knew that this movie was going to open big. It made $77 million on an opening weekend, which is the second highest opening weekend for an October release ever, right behind Venom's $80 million. Some people were saying that it would surpass that, but right now it's sitting at 77. However, when it comes to literally every other Halloween film, it has already outgrossed all of them in just one weekend, which is fantastic. And right now it has the highest opening weekend for a Blumhouse release ever, so that's pretty good. It's probably going to go on its way to become their highest grossing one, topping Get Out, which is fantastic for them. Even though I thought the movie was decent, I'm very proud to see this because it's a really big accomplishment that they were able to make this much money and already break so many records. Like, I knew this movie was going to be big, but I didn't know it was going to be like this big, you know what I mean? Like, worldwide it is already at 91 million right now, 9 million away from getting to 100 million. It is off to a slammin' great start right now. And number 2, we're going to move along to A Star Is Born, which obviously has gotten a spot higher than Venom, which is quite surprising. I was kind of expecting that to happen at some point because if you notice, Venom's numbers are dropping very closely to where A Star Is Born was. So I kind of knew in the back of my head that it would happen at some point. I just was foolish enough to not predict it as doing that. It made $19 million this weekend, adding to a domestic total of $126 million. And on the worldwide chart, it is sitting at $201 million, which is fantastic for this film. Once again, I applaud Bradley Cooper for having such a great hit on his hands. And thank God that it's doing much better than Venom right now, sitting at number 3. And obviously, Venom has more money worldwide. It is sitting at $461 million right now. It had $18 million this weekend, adding to a domestic total of $171. So obviously, Venom has more money than A Star Is Born right now, technically. But that being said, the fact that A Star Is Born is actually sitting around with audiences much better, the fact that more people went to see A Star Is Born this weekend compared to Venom, like, that's a really great thing, in my opinion. Like, that's a really great sign for that film. And Venom, it already has its money, so it's not like A Star Is Born is like hurting it or anything. It's just that I'm just very happy to see that A Star Is Born is getting some more attention. Number 4, we have Goosebumps 2 Haunted Halloween, making $9 million this weekend, adding to a domestic total of $28 million. And on the worldwide chart, it is sitting at $39 million. It's $31 million away from doubling its $35 million budget, so maybe combined total of domestic and worldwide, it'll be able to do that. It's kind of a shame, though, that it is the sequel, and it's the second weekend this film's out, and it already hasn't surpassed the first Goosebumps in any way, like domestically or worldwide, so this is obviously pretty embarrassing, I guess, for Sony, that maybe they thought they were going to lower the budget and have a bigger hit, but instead they might have, like, a little less of a return than even the first Goosebumps, because the first Goosebumps was a more moderate hit, not like a huge hit, like more moderate, like it was able to double its budget, but not hugely or anything. This one is looking like it might barely get to 100 million worldwide, which must be really embarrassing on their part. Number 5, we have First Man, another movie that's kind of struggling with the box office. It made $8 million this weekend, and that adds to a domestic total of $29 million, and on the worldwide chart, it is sitting at $55 million. So they need $118 million to be considered a success once you double it. So once again, maybe the combined total of domestic and worldwide will be able to get them there, but as I'm looking at it right here, it's really not looking that good, especially for a second weekend. Maybe there will be a couple more places worldwide that it needs to be released, and as I've said before, there is also the possibility of Oscar contingency, and that might boost it up if they play it again in theaters once the Oscars come out or something like that. But right now, on its second weekend, it's just not doing the greatest business. It's doing all right. It's not a huge flop, but right now, it's losing a lot of money from the stats we're looking at. Number 6, we have The Hate U Give. I thought this would get into the top 5, and it really didn't, but it's still making some money. It made $7 million this weekend, and that adds to a domestic total of $10 million. I thought for sure that since it was in limited and it managed to get into the top 10, that maybe it would have a bigger gross this weekend, but I don't really know about that. Those are kind of unpredictable at the same time also. It is on a budget of 23 million, however, so if they don't get some worldwide totals soon, then they could go down the route of big flop as well, like First Man or Goosebumps 2 right now. So that they really need to work on that at least. Number 7, we have Smallfoot, which made $6 million, adding to a domestic total of 66 million, and on the worldwide chart, it is sitting at 137. Domestically and worldwide, it was able to surpass the totals of Lego Ninjago and Teen Titans Go to the Movies, but still, it still has to surpass the Lego Movie and Lego Batman Movie and even Storks. It's pretty close to Storks, so maybe they can surpass that one before it leaves the top 10, but it's still not looking too good. Very similar to the other films that I've already talked about, which is very weird. So let's talk about a hit for once. Number 8, Night School. It made $5 million this weekend, adding to a domestic total of 66 million, and on the worldwide chart, it is sitting at 84 million, which is very good. It won't be able to get to 100 million worldwide, but it's gotten close enough, and it's already doubled its budget, so it's fine. Unfortunately, though, one of my favorite films of the year, number 9, Bad Times at the El Royale, is another flop in this video. It only made $3 million this weekend, adding to a domestic total of 13 million, and on the worldwide chart, it is sitting at 21. Not even close to its $32 million budget right now, which is really depressing, honestly. I was at least hoping for worldwide, at least, maybe to boost it up a little bit more, at least past the 32 initial production budget number, but no, unfortunately, this movie's a really big flop, not like The Cabin in the Woods, which did all right financially, but this film is just a complete flop, and that's really sad because I love this film. And closing out this top 10, The Old Man and the Gun, making $2 million, adding to a domestic total of $4 million on a budget of I'm not entirely sure. But what can you really say with that one? I've heard some good things about this, so maybe I was expecting a little bit more people to go out and see it, but, you know, it is what it is. It's a movie that not too many people have really heard of, so obviously a lot of people just don't know what it is and didn't go see it because of that. So that's a little sad for Robert Redford's last movie, but if people really liked it, like critically, if the people really liked it, then I think that's all that really matters for him. Now it's time for the fun part, the predictions for next week's top 5. Number 1, I'm going with Halloween. Number 2, A Star is Born. Number 3, Venom. Number 4, Hunter Killer. And number 5, Johnny English Strikes Again. But what are your predictions for next week's top 5? Leave it in the comments below. And if you got your predictions right for this week, you're going to get a shout out right now. Unless you didn't get it right, then I'm sorry. And as always, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe. I'm Jackson Fulcher. See you guys next time.